Hi guys, it's Migs here again with another video. This time it's just a little delivery video that I've done, but why this one stood out to me is because of the ending. The difficulty in parking, or the locality where this load was actually going to, actually caught me by surprise. It's a simple, short delivery from Le Mans to Bourges in France, and I'm carrying a 72-ton crane. But along the way there's a couple of things that I thought were interesting, so I'm going to point them out as we go along. But this is just for interest's sake, and it's just to show you how tricky it can get to finish the delivery. Anyway, here we go. If you've been following my videos, you'll see that this is the wheel that I've been using, the wheel I built. If you haven't, well, I've included the link in the description below, so you can have a look at it yourself. I must say, it's really made my driving experience a lot better. Okay, so here we go. That just gave you a bit of a orbital view of the truck and its trailer. And because of the way the wheel is configured with all the buttons, I've got all my camera view buttons in the one section. So I can keep my one hand on the mouse and still change camera views with the other hand while still keeping my hand on the wheel. That was the whole point of this wheel design. And it's proven to be really useful. We'll just wait for this guy to... Yeah, there we go. Obviously the horn does give an indication that I'm going to be waiting for him. So there he goes. And as you can see again, the orbital view with the different camera views, everything hands-on. Not too much of a fuss using the mouse. Yeah. Nicely done, even if I say so myself. That was just a thank you to the guys for being patient. As you can see, left view, right view. Unfortunately, because of my triple screen setup, the view, I can't give you the full view. I tried it, but it gives you a very small letterbox, so we'll have to do with the aspect ratio that we have now. That's a rear view camera. And we're going to get some rain now. Unfortunately, that left view just... I did it so that you could see my driver's side mirror, but it cuts off a bit, so yeah, that didn't work out too well. And another reason why I made this video, there's one example. The mod I'm using also allows for emergency vehicles occasionally to let the sirens and their hooters go off. And also the other point is to show you the traffic volumes, the different types of traffic. So as you can see, there's some double trailers going past us. I've also added the escort vehicles into traffic. So there's a big variety in the game. There's density ratios as well, different times of day. And if you followed my series of videos, it was to give you an indication on how to mod the game to your liking, to your, what you expect to it. I like to make it as realistic as possible, and that's what I was going for. But everyone has his own particular set of, preferences. So yeah, the videos, the series was just to give you a bit of insight on how to, or what to change to give you those effects. And the weather is starting to build up. There's a bit of fog around. Another key point of my mod as well, as we're approaching the toll gate, you'll see that there's no toll gates itself. The booms are up, and it won't charge you. So that was also one of my preferences, to stop and start every time, especially when you're driving in France. There's a toll gate around every corner, and it just got a bit mundane, so I decided to keep them in the upright position. And again, if you followed my videos, you'll see how easy it is to do. One of the escort vehicles just came past us, if you saw that in the shot. And I think we're about to hit the motorway, the expressway. Along this drive, I'm going to give you as many camera options or camera views as possible, different angles, so you can see what it's all about. And with the fog, you can't really see in the back. Also, for the purpose of this video, I switched off the voice navigation because she got irritating, and every time I wanted to say something, she just came on and interrupted me. So yeah, for the purpose of this video, I've taken it off. And it will become evident later in the video, you do rely on the voice navigation, because I made some mistakes, I missed some turn-offs, and that cost me. So we'll see that later in the video as well. If there's something you see in the video that you'd like to have more information on, please drop them in the comments below. I'll go through all of them, and whatever I can answer I will get back to you. Anything in particular. The view we just had was the bumper view. I tried to put it at the same level as the driver view so that you don't have too much of distortion, just removing the in-cab features. That helps when you get into places where your frame rates start dropping, so it removes a bit of the interior, and that helps with the frame, so it picks them back up again. Background, you can hear a siren going off there, so that's also another nice cool feature. I think that rear view camera was very helpful. It really helps. When you have a box container or a load in the back that's a box container, it makes it difficult to see, but you can always adjust the height at which the camera is positioned. In my case, I like it where it is, and when the box container is there, it's not supposed to be easy, so yeah, I left it where it is. It's just when you've got these abnormal loads and, you know, loads of different vehicles and things like that, you have the odd gap where you can see through, so that also makes it quite nice. This is where we have a collision up ahead, if I'm not mistaken. The camera views will now confirm. And you can see the traffic build up in the rear. Yeah, there we have a double trailer up ahead that's decided to connect with another smaller vehicle. And this is going to be a while. Even with the horn, this didn't resolve the issue. So you will get situations where you will get stuck. And this is where you have to get creative. So I'm trying to force my way back onto the open lane, and soon enough you'll see there will be a gap. Just enough encouragement for them to give me a gap. There we go. I saw that truck moving out behind me, so that gave me an opportunity. The rear view camera really becomes useful when you get to intersections, crossroads, where you've got cross traffic, that type of thing, that you can't really look out your windows. There's a lot of maneuvering going around with the mouse and that. I use the rear view camera as well, especially when on ramps, you're approaching on ramps with vehicles approaching as well. It just gives you a bit of leeway when it comes to your options. Traffic density is quite nice for this time of the day, so there's always continuous flow, there's always variety. If you feel that the escort vehicles are too prominent in your game, you can always change that by changing the spawn ratio, so that's something you can work on. I've actually included into my truck storage file. If you guys feel that I need to make a video on that, I will gladly do it. Just drop it in the comments below and we'll have a look at that as well. Camera views again. And like I said in the beginning of the video, guys, please stay tuned. I know it will get a bit boring along the way as we are on the freeway, and it does get a bit monotonous, but wait for the ending. That's where the real thing comes in. I made a couple of mistakes, took some turns I shouldn't have, and I didn't take the ones I should have, and that ended up being quite an excursion. And with such a load on the back, you know, when you get stuck with things like that, you can easily use your teleport section of the, well, if you've got the wheel I've got, easily do that. But I wanted to see if I could challenge myself and get me out of that situation. And eventually I did. Took a bit of persuasion, but yeah, I did get there in the end. But I must also say, the delivery address where this truck, where this train is going to, I really wasn't expecting it to be there. And but you'll see. Stay tuned. We're almost there. Also note now on the oncoming side of the road, there's sections where the traffic just goes dead. This has been one of my biggest issues with this game, and I've tried a lot of different approaches to addressing this, and you'll notice that the minute we cross into a new prefab, as we just have done, the traffic comes alive again. So I firmly believe that this has got to do with the map itself, with the designation that the developers have given that section of road. I don't know what they've done or how they've designated. It could have been extra urban or it could have been rural, I don't know. But there's something in it, and it's always where a prefab begins or ends that you'll find that the traffic becomes dispersed or it just disappears for a while. I am working on something that I'm starting to get a little bit of success on. I'm still fine-tuning those details, but it's starting to improve. But then again, that said, as soon as I think that I've got it covered, I get to another section of the map and it just falls back into the same old routine. So I don't know if it's the coding that's helping or not, or if it's just the map that's having its issues, or where the code reads that there should be no vehicles on that stretch of road. But yeah, stay tuned. I will be addressing that one very soon, and I think I am making some progress, so we'll soon find out. For example, this section of road, there's nothing on the oncoming side, but keep watching. As soon as we enter that prefab of that intersection, and there the traffic starts spawning again. So I honestly believe that it's got to do with the map itself, but we will get to the bottom of it soon, I'm sure. Up ahead is an accident scene. You catch a glimpse of it just to your left. There you go. Here's a prime example again of the prefab issue. As soon as you enter that prefab section, in this case it was the service station, but there's evidence again. But like I said, this video was made before I discovered a little something, and hopefully it will be the next video I make, will be that discussion in its entirety. Oh, and one more thing to point out as well. I'm currently running my G traffic value at 1.5. I found it's given me the best traffic density versus the frame rate experience. You can run it at 2, but the minute you go into the cities and your more built up areas, it starts taking a hit on the frames. My frames run on average around, in places like this I hit 60s no problem. But the minute we get into, more complex areas where there's a lot more prefabs, they dip down into the 40s, and when in the cities, they will dip down into the 30s and possibly the higher 20s. You will start seeing a bit of stuttering. It's not critical, it's not the end of the world, it's not like watching a PowerPoint show. But yeah, I don't like to see it, so I try to make it so that it's as fluid as possible, keep the frames rolling past quite nicely. Right, we should be turning off soon, and then the fun will begin. I know the drive's been a bit boring, but I hope you've stayed tuned, because I think it will be worth your while. Again, we're going to have a couple of views, left and right and back. The rear view. And again, you can see that the toll gate is not an issue. if you go through the auto toll, you will get charged. So if you feel like you still want to play realistic, go through the other side and you will be charged. Where the icons are displayed, there you won't get charged. Right guys, this is where the fun begins. From the map, you'll see that after this roundabout, I'm supposed to be making a left turn immediately. But when I get there, let's just get rid of this traffic. I think the density is quite realistic. And because we've got such a huge load in the back, thankfully that's a steerable trailer. But right here, you'll see there's a little service road that goes to the left. I'm supposed to have taken that road. But because I was looking in my mirrors and I didn't have my voice navigation on, that's when I regretted not having her telling me what to do. So I did miss that one. So next best thing is go to where the navigation points me. I'm just looking at what that service road was supposed to be. So it looks like it's quite narrow. That's when I started to realize, okay, this is going to be a tricky one. And now I see I've got to make a U-turn up ahead. Now my mind is starting to calculate. What now? And this is where I make my second mistake. Because I'm not listening to the navigation, I don't realize that there's another service road going left right here. And that's the one I'm supposed to be taking. But then I do realize it and I think, okay, but there's no way I'm going to make that turn with the load I've got on. So my best bet is to make a U-turn at this intersection. It's got the most space. But there's a bit of traffic around. So this is where it really gets interesting. So now, I don't want to go boonda bashing and knocking everybody about, even though I've got the artillery for it. But yeah, we're stuck. And now because it's a steerable trailer, you've got to watch out for the tail end of it. And I just realized the queue that's building up. So this, I have to really see how it's going to go. And if you watch the bus on the left, I just managed to miss him. So there was no collision there. Fantastic. But then again, alright, there's no way I can make that turn into that service lane. So I think, okay, why not? Let's go back to that one. We'll cross over into the oncoming lane and we'll make the turn as wide as possible. Because I've got a steerable axle, I'll have a better angle of approach that way. So let's see what happens. Luckily there's not much traffic now, so it will give me a bit of space. But then again, we are approaching that roundabout. And boom, there's some traffic. And the chances are that traffic is going to come in my direction. So I just had to look back to see. Oh, and I've got I've got some company. Right, there's one car coming up, but I think, okay, here's a gap. Let's cross over. It's the only way I'm going to get that angle of approach correct. And I'm counting on my steerable axle or my steerable trailer to give me that gap I need. Although I've got to go and do a bit of off-roading. Try not to hit those trees. That fence is worrying me, but then I realize, okay, the trailer's going to make that angle. So, okay, we're good. Let's see what we can do here. Let's see how we can manage that. I managed to avoid the sign on that intersection. I've managed to avoid the car on the right. I've managed to avoid the little markers on the road on the left. Fantastic. That was good. Right, now we go down this little service lane. And now I'm realizing, looking at that little map, there's a square left coming up on a tight country road. I'm thinking, what the hell am I going to do here? Okay, this is where you got to think very quickly. I go left, looking in my mirror, I realize, okay, that's not going to happen. Let's try this again. Reverse it back out. But now because it's a steerable trailer, your angles start changing as well if you're not careful. Suddenly you find yourself in a whole heap of mess. Right, so what am I going to do here? I'm thinking about using my teleporting, but then I said, no, hold on. Why not go right? There's a bit of space. I have to do a bit of cross country. Let's see, I'm worried about the tail of the trailer so I don't hit the bridge. But this is the only solution I have, so I'll go off-road. Managed to clear that. And then I realized, oh damn, traction's a problem. My truck's not getting traction. But eventually I get a bit of traction. And I managed to get out of it. And that was that. So now just follow up to the gate and I should be fine. Yeah, I was relieved at this point. Didn't cause too much damage. Yeah, and that was the whole point of this video. When I got to this point I realized, now I'm glad I recorded this section and I was just glad to be done with it, and honestly, yeah. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, like it, subscribe it, share it with your friends. Let me know what you think. Drop them in the comments below, and anything else you want to see, drop me a line. Let me know what it is that you guys are interested in, and we can take it from there. Anyway, thank you for watching, guys. I'll catch you on the next one.